Hello everybody. I hope you are fine and you are healthy and sound in this time of crisis, in this time of coronavirus. We are going to be here teaching online for you in the intermediate level. So I hope, as I said, you are fine, and today I'm going to teach intermediate level, and I am Nejat, your teacher. So we are going to go through different topics and we are going to go through different vocabulary. As you know, the time that we are living in right now, it is a bit difficult. So we need to switch and we need to do something different in order to provide to you something different, a new version of teaching. That's why we are here today online, and I'm going to do my best to explain to you different topics and in a way to give you some light about English. Coronavirus has created a lot of problems in our daily life, has changed the way how we are dealing with our daily life. So we need to be more careful and we need to do some changes also in order to set or to rearrange the things in our life. That's why from our face-to-face learning we are changing into online version or a live streaming version of teaching. Today I'm going to talk about some different topics, and I'm going to talk about grammar, I'm going to talk about some vocabulary, and by the end hopefully you will try to do some pronunciation. I'm going to use different kind of materials, I'm going to use different kind of books and different kind of sources. So I hope the screen share is going to be helpful for you in this regard. I'm going to use the main book that we use in intermediate, which is English files. So I'm going to use that one for grammar, and also I'm going to use different kind of sources which are in a way similar to the book which we have. First of all, I would like you to stay in this online or stream version of this part, and also to try your best to capture or to get what you are going to learn from here. I know that in this time of crisis also the learning and also the studying period, it's a bit not motivating, but still we are trying to bring home to you the new version of teaching. I'm going to talk today about some different topics as I mentioned, and in grammar part I'm going to talk about future forms. After that, after talking about future forms, I'm going to talk about vocabulary, and vocabulary is related with food and cooking. And in pronunciation part, we are going to see some form of pronunciation. Let's just get started with the future forms. Okay, as you know, we have different kind of future forms, but today we are going to talk for three main ones. So we have be going to, we have will, and we have present continuous, which is used for future arrangements as well. But we are going to go one by one, and we are going to talk in detail about each part by giving different kind of examples and by explaining different kind of things. So let's go, or let's give a start with be going to. So the form of using be going to, it is be going to plus infinitive. We use be going to or going to, not will or won't, when we have already decided to do something. So why we use going to, and will, it is in the decision that we make. So when we have a decision about something, we use be going to and we don't use any other form. That's why be going to, the main usage for it, it is for future plans and intentions. Here you have some examples of usage of be going to. My sister is going to adopt a child. Here we have is instead of be, which is because it is present part, and we use going to as the other equivalent of it. Adopt a child. And we don't use my sister will adopt a child because this is a plan or this is a decision. It is not an instant decision or at the moment decision. This is the positive form of using going to. Another form is using in the question. Here we have, are you going to buy a new car or a second-hand one? Here you see that we are putting are or the auxiliary verb be, we are putting at the beginning, and we are putting the subject between the be and going to, as you can see. So we have are and we have you as the subject, and going to is the future form of going to. And here why we use are you going to buy a new car or a second-hand one, and we don't use will you. The reason why we use this, it is because here we have a person who already has decided about doing something. In this case, buying a car. So that's why we use are you going to buy a new car or a second-hand one. And we don't use will. And we have the negative form of be going to, which is by putting not between the be and going to. In this case, I'm not going to go to New York tomorrow, the meeting is cancelled. As you can see here, there was a plan beforehand, but because of the plan, in this case the meeting, is changed, what we do is we just make the negative sentence of it and we say that I'm not going to go because there are some changes. So you decided again because of other changes that happen. So this is the first usage of be going to for future plans and intentions. The second reason why we use be going to is for prediction. It says here we also use going to make a prediction about the future, especially when you can see or have some evidence. We should be clear here that we use for prediction also will, but there is a difference in using will and be going to for prediction. And the difference is in the evidence that we have it. For be going to, we need to have some evidence when we are predicting about something. For example, we have here some examples, and one of them is black clouds. Let's say if you see that there are black clouds in the sky, you say to your friend, look at those black clouds. I think it's going to rain. So here what do we have? We have some evidence. What is the evidence? Is black clouds. That's why we use it's going to rain and we don't say it will rain. As I mentioned, will also is used for prediction, but in this case, because we have this evidence, we use going to. Another sentence of be going to used for prediction is this one. Barcelona are going to win. They are playing really well. Why they are going to win? What is the evidence there? The evidence there is that they are playing really well. when you see something with your eyes and you see that they are playing very well in this case, then you say Barcelona are going to win. For example, the match has started, you see that they are playing very well, and you say to your friend, Barcelona are going to win. Or another scenario of this is if you know that Barcelona are playing really well these days, and because of that, they are playing or they are in the top of football, you can say Barcelona are going to win. But if you are not sure or if you don't know, like you don't have any evidence about this, you can say Barcelona will win. In which case, the possibility of this to happen, it is 50-50 and we don't have any huge possibility. So this is be going to. We use for future plans and intentions as I mentioned, and the second usage is for predictions. Now we will continue with will and shall plus infinitive. We use will or want in the negative, not the present simple, for instant decisions, promises, offers, and suggestions. As you can see, will is used for many different things or for many different purposes. Here we have instant decisions. Instant decisions means at the moment decisions. For example, you go to the restaurant and you haven't decided about what you are going to order, and you just say, I will take, for example, a cappuccino or whatever it is. In this case, what you are doing is you are deciding at the moment, or it is a decision at the moment. Promises is when you promise something to somebody. Here we are going to see also some other examples, but first just I'm giving you a clue about it. Promises, when you promise, as I said, to somebody, you promise that you are going to love somebody, you are going to bring something to somebody or whatever it is. Offers, when you offer something to somebody, and suggestion, when you suggest about, for example, going somewhere or doing something. And here we use, as I mentioned, will and want, not present simple. We cannot say, I carry that bag for you. But in this case, we should say, I will carry that bag for you. So in this case, we are using will and we are not using present simple for this kind of cases, for instant decisions, promises, offers, and suggestions. Another reason why we use will, it is, as I mentioned earlier, to talk about predictions. What was the difference between will and going to for prediction? I mentioned earlier, but I'm going just to repeat it. I think Barcelona will win. In the previous case, we had that I think. We didn't have the I think part, but we said that Barcelona are going to win. So here we don't have I think. It is not your opinion in this case. Actually, it is in a way, but we have some evidence. What is the evidence there? That you are seeing that they are playing very well. But in the second case, you are saying, I think Barcelona will win. You don't have any evidence in this case. It is your opinion about it, and maybe the other team that are playing against Barcelona are a good team as well, so the chances of Barcelona to win are not high, or let's say they are similar to the other team. So we have instant decisions, we have promises, we have offers, we have suggestions. And we have predictions, as I mentioned. Another reason why we use will or want in the negative is to talk about future facts. As you can see, we can use will to talk for predictions, which is not a fact, it is just an estimation about something, And we can use to talk about future facts in the same time. In this case, we have the election will be on 1st of March. For example, the country decided they are going to have election. It is a fact that on 1st of March there are going to be election, and we use will plus be in this case to talk about future facts. And like instead of will, we can use shall with I and we for offers and suggestions when they are questions. So instead of will in first person singular and in the first person plural, we can use shall for question form when there are offers and suggestions. So instead of saying, for example, will we go somewhere, we say, shall we go and eat outside, for example, or whatever it is. So this is the reasons why we use will, shall plus infinitive. Now we are going to talk about some examples related to all these uses of will. We are going to give some example about instant decisions, promises, offers, suggestions, predictions, future facts, etc. So let's see together. As I mentioned, we use will for instant decision. Instant means at the moment decision. So it means that you haven't decided before and you are just having a decision at that moment or at the moment of speaking. For example, I mentioned the case of ordering something in the restaurant. Here we have, I will have the steak. You look at the menu, and in the menu you see the steak, and because of that you decide in that moment that you are going to order steak, and you say, I will have the steak. Here, will, it is a contracted form, or it is a short form with the subject together. The other thing that we use will, it was for promises. Here, I mentioned promise is when you say to somebody something which, for example, you will love them forever, or you won't tell anybody where you are, or whatever it is. Here we have, I won't tell anybody where you are. Again, instead of will not, as a contracted form, we use won't. I won't tell anybody where you are. So it is a negative form of it. Positive, we have it will. Negative, we have won't. And in the question, we can use shall I or will you, for example, if it is a different one. The third case, it is for offer. When you offer something to somebody, I will carry the bag for you. For example, you see an old person carrying some heavy bags, and what you do, you offer something to him or to her. In this case, what you offer is to carry that bag or those bags for the person. I will carry that bag for you. So in this case, again, we have the contracted form of will. Next one, we have prediction. Here the prediction is you will love New York. Here it is a prediction. Maybe you have some evidence, you have some clues about New York, and the person who is talking, I'm saying in this case, the person who is talking has some clues about New York, and maybe he can say you will love New York. Considering that New York is a big city, has a lot of opportunities and stuff, maybe he will say you will love New York. But still, even though or despite we have this kind of evidence by the person who is talking, we are not sure about it. So there is not a certainty that the person is going to love New York. maybe the person is not going to love it at all. So this is just a prediction, an estimation about the future. Next one, it is future fact. I mentioned earlier when we use future fact. I will be at home all afternoon. Or it's better to say, in this time of coronavirus, because of the situation, it's better to say we will be at home for some many weeks, right? Some more weeks because of the situation. And I think because we are here, it's a good idea for you to stay home and not to go out because of the situation, not to help the virus to spread, but to be careful and to stay healthy at the same time. And this is a future fact though. I will be at home all afternoon. You see, even in the previous case, when we had it here, the election will be on 1st of March. When we have a future fact, we usually use will plus the verb be, or the auxiliary verb be here that we have it. Next, we have offer. Shall I help you with your homework? We mentioned earlier that we use shall instead of will for the first person singular I and first person plural, which is we. And we use only in question forms and when we have offer or we have suggestion. So you shouldn't use for other kind of form. Sometimes in literature, shall is used in positive form, but in formal way, in usage of the formal way of shall, it has to stay in these two cases, I and we, and only for offer and suggestion. Here we have, shall I help you with your homework? As you can see here, we have a question form, offer and question form. And what happens? Shall comes at the beginning of the sentence or before the subject here, or will you, right? In the second case, second pronoun. Shall we eat out tonight? This is a suggestion which you, for example, give to your friends about eating out tonight. But I think, as I mentioned earlier, because of coronavirus, I think it is much better eating in, not only tonight, but every night, and not going out. Anyway, the restaurants and most of the places are closed, so we have to conform to the idea. So this is about will. Now we have present continuous. You know, present continuous form is be plus verb plus ing. So because it is present, this be, it becomes am, is, are, because it is an auxiliary verb and it changes. And we have verb plus ing, the main or the base verb, and we add ing to the verb. As you know, the first reason why we use present continuous is to talk about the things which are true at the moment we are talking, or something which is happening at the moment. But another usage for present continuous is to talk about future arrangements. So as you can see here, we often use present continuous for future arrangements. What is arrangement? Arrangement is when you have decided with somebody about something. Not only with somebody, it can be you have decided with a company, or you have decided with a certain platform about something. And it is everything arranged. The verb form, it is arranged, so there is a time, there is a place, and everything. That's why we use present continuous for future arrangement. And when we talk about future arrangements, usually there is very little difference between the present continuous and going to for future plans and arrangements. and often you can use either of them. So we can say that we can use both going to and we can use present continuous when we are talking about future plans and arrangements. And the meaning, it is almost the same, or there is a very little difference about it. The only thing is that going to shows that you have made a decision. Like the decision was made before. This is what going to shows more. And for example, we are going to get married next year. This is what shows going to, the decision of getting married. And here we have some other examples. Here we mentioned we are going to get married, right? We are using going to. And Lorna and Jamie are getting married in October. As you can see, we can use both cases, going to, and we can use present continuous for talking about a future plan or arrangement. As you can see, we use the same form, are, get plus ing. And we have another case when we have a future arrangement. We are meeting at 10 tomorrow in Jack's office. Here what do we have? We are talking about tomorrow, which instantly means we are talking about the future, right? In this case we are meeting, or we are going to meet at 10, but because it is arrangement, there is a time specific, and there is a place, there is Jack's office, and there is tomorrow, then it's better to say we are meeting at 10 tomorrow in Jack's office. And the other example is Jane is leaving on Friday and coming back next Tuesday. So what do we have here? Because Jane knows the time when she is going to leave and knows the time when she is going to come back, we use present continuous for future. So in this case, we have Jane is leaving on Friday. She has the ticket, for example, to go somewhere for Friday, and is leaving on Friday and coming back next Tuesday. So she has a two-way ticket, so it means to go somewhere and to come, and that's why she, for example, is coming back next Tuesday, and this is an arrangement. Everything is clear there. Next one, we have another form which we use it in present, we use for the future, and it is present simple. Here we have, or we use present simple when we have future events at a specific time, timetable or schedules. So when we have a schedule, or when we have a, let's say, timetable, we can use present simple with a future meaning. So the meaning here is future. In this case, the plane takes land at 11:40. So we know the time when the plane takes land, and we just use present simple in this case. Or we leave to Edinburgh at 9. We know, for example, that the train to Edinburgh is at 9, and there is a timetable, or there is a schedule of the trains, and we can use present simple in this case as well. And here there is just a glance of everything we did till now. For example, we have will, it is a future simple. For prediction, we don't know, so we are not sure about it. We will travel to Mars in 20 years. Is it sure? No. So there is just a prediction. Sudden decisions, or in the earlier part, we have instant decisions. I am hungry. I will make a sandwich. Offers. For example, will you have something to drink? no thanks, I won't have anything. And we have the other usage of will which we mentioned earlier for promises and for suggestions and for future facts as well, so not to forget this one. We talked about be going to. We use for plans and intentions an idea for the future. For example, I'm going to meet my friends, but I haven't found them yet. So it is an intention about it. So he is going most probably to do that thing. Evident predictions. So in will part, we had what? We had predictions, right? But without any evidence. And in going to part, we have prediction, but which are related to evidence. So we have some evidence about it, or we know something about it. We are going to have a baby in 2 months, which is for sure. You have the evidence, for example, the woman is pregnant and so on in this way.